The archive closes to the public at 6. By 7, the building belongs to us. The City Records archive is older than it looks from the outside. Stone facade, narrow windows, a brass plaque no one reads anymore. Inside, the air smells like dust and paper and something faintly metallic like old keys. I hear his footsteps before I see him. Measured. Unhurried. Familiar already, even though we've only worked together for 3 nights. "You're early," he says, setting his bag down beside the long central table. "It's 6:58, I reply. "Then you're on time," he says, the corner of his mouth lifting slightly. That's his version of a smile. We were paired without ceremony. Budget cuts. Short staff. A temporary assignment to finish digitizing and sealing physical records before the building shuts down for renovation. 2 weeks. Night shifts only. The email called it efficient. What it really meant was quiet. The archive after hours feels different. The lights are dimmer. The sound sharper. Every movement echoes, heels on stone, pages turning, the soft whir of the scanner. We work at opposite ends of the table, each with a stack of files. Old court transcripts. Property records. Letters never meant to be read by anyone but the future. We don't talk much. There's no need. Silence here isn't awkward. It's respectful. He handles the documents carefully. Always with gloves. Always precise. I notice things without meaning to, the way he straightens a folder before opening it. The way his fingers pause briefly on the edge of a page before turning it. "You've done this before," I say one night. "Yes," he replies. "Here." "No." That's all he offers. We establish a rhythm. He takes the west wing. I take the east. We meet in the center at 10 to log progress, exchange keys, refill coffee. Sometimes our hands brush when we pass the ledger. The contact is brief, but it stays. The building makes its presence known. Pipes click behind the walls. Old vents sigh. Somewhere above us, something shifts with a soft thud that makes me look up. "It's just the building," he says calmly without glancing over. "You're sure?" "Yes. It always sounds worse at night. You sound like you know it well." He hesitates. "I listen," he says finally. By the 4th night, I stop checking my phone. There's no signal down here anyway. Time stretches differently underground. The city feels far away, sealed off by stone and hours. One night, the power flickers. Not out. Just uncertain. The lights dim, brighten, dim again. I freeze mid-scan. He's beside me in seconds. "It's fine," he says quietly. "Backup generator kicks in if needed." "You moved fast," I note. I don't like surprises. That's the first personal thing he said. We take our breaks together after that. Not planned. Just natural. Standing by the narrow window near the stairwell, sipping coffee that's gone cold too quickly. "You always work nights?" I ask. "Yes." "Why?" He studies the dark glass for a moment. "Fewer interruptions. From people. From expectations." I nod. That answer fits better than anything else he could have said. The archive grows quieter as the days pass. Shelves empty. Boxes sealed. Rooms darkened and locked one by one. Each night, the building becomes less itself. "I didn't think I'd feel this," I admit once, gesturing to the sealed west wing. "What?" he asks. Like I'm erasing something. He meets my gaze. "You're preserving it," he says. "Just differently." That stays with me. The first real shift happens on night 7. We're working closer than usual. Space limited now that sections are closed. Our chairs almost touch. The table lamp casts a small pool of light that feels too intimate for a public building. I drop a page. It slides toward his side of the table. He reaches for it at the same time I do. Our fingers collide. Neither of us pulls away immediately. "Sorry," I say. "It's all right," he replies. But his voice is lower than before. After that, the awareness becomes impossible to ignore. Not desire exactly. Attention. He notices when I tense. I notice when he lingers. Once, when a stack of files topples unexpectedly, he steadies it with one hand, and steadies me with the other. His palm rests briefly against my back. Grounding. Then he steps away. I don't mention it. Neither does he. The nights grow shorter. The final deadline approaches. We're down to one long shelf of personal correspondence, unclassified letters recovered from estates, unclaimed but historically relevant. Last section, he says quietly. Yes. Something about the way he says it makes my chest tighten. The letters are intimate. Apologies. Confessions. Regrets written too late. We read silently, scanning and cataloging. But the weight of other people's unfinished stories presses in around us. You ever think about who reads these next? I ask. Yes, he answers. And I hope they're careful. On the second to last night, the scanner jams. Of course it does. He crouches to fix it, sleeves rolled up, jaw set in concentration. I watch without meaning to. You can look, he says, not glancing up. I flush. I wasn't. It's all right, he says. I don't mind being seen. The same words. Different setting. Same effect. We finish early that night. Too early. There's nothing left to do but sit at the table, surrounded by sealed boxes in dim light. This is strange, I say. Yes. Tomorrow night will be the last. Yes. He exhales slowly. Then this ends. The statement hangs between us. Yes, I agree. But neither of us moves. The building hums softly around us. I realize then how aware I've become of him. Not just his presence but his restraint. The way he never crosses lines I haven't drawn. The way he waits. What happens after? I ask quietly. He looks at me for a long moment. I go where I'm assigned, he says. You go where you choose. And this? He considers. This becomes a finished file. The phrasing shouldn't feel personal. But it does. We lock up early. Turn off the lights. Stand together at the base of the stairs. Keys heavy in our hands. Neither of us leaves right away. The silence is thick, but not uncomfortable. Expectant. And for the first time since this assignment began, I wonder if finishing something means letting it go, or if it simply means choosing what comes next. The final night arrives quietly. No announcement. No sense of ceremony. Just the same brass doors, the same dim lights, the same familiar smell of dust and ink and stone. Only the silence feels different. Sharper. He's already there when I arrive, jacket folded over the back of his chair, sleeves rolled up. The archive looks almost bare now. Shelves empty, boxes sealed and labeled. Rooms locked behind us like chapters closed carefully, one by one. You ready? He asks. Yes, I answer. But I'm not sure what I mean. We start with the last shelf. One narrow section tucked against the east wall. Overlooked until now because it didn't belong to any department anymore. Personal files. Unsorted. Unclaimed. The final file sits alone. He slides it toward me. Do you want to do the honors? He asks. I hesitate, then nod. Inside are letters bound with a faded ribbon. Handwritten. Careful. Intimate in the way only things never meant for an audience can be. I scan the first page. It's a confession. Not dramatic. Just honest. A person admitting they waited too long to say what mattered. Assuming time would stretch instead of end. I swallow. These are hard, I murmur. Yes, he replies quietly. They always are at the end. We work slower than usual. Not because we need to, but because neither of us is in a hurry. The scanner hums softly. The room feels smaller. The air warmer, like the building itself is aware it's being left behind. At one point, he reaches across the table to steady a stack of papers near my elbow. This time his hand doesn't move away right away. His fingers rest there. Not touching me. Just close enough that I can feel the heat. I look up. He's watching me, not scanning, not listening. Waiting. The last page feeds into the scanner with a soft click. Done. I lean back in my chair, breath leaving me slowly. That's it, I say. Yes, he replies. Neither of us stands. We sit there in the dim light, surrounded by sealed history. I didn't expect this. I admit quietly. What? He asks. How much I'd notice you. His mouth curves faintly. I noticed you too. That feels like more than a confession. The clock on the wall ticks louder than it should. We still have time before locking up, but neither of us reaches for our keys. I don't do this, he says suddenly. Do what? Let things stay unfinished, he answers. Or blur. And yet, I say softly, And yet, he agrees. We walk the archive one last time, turning off lamps, checking locks, running our hands briefly over cold stone walls we've passed 100 times without touching. When we reach the central table again, he stops. I want to be clear, he says. About what? That if this ends tonight, he continues steady and careful, it will still have mattered. I meet his gaze. And if it doesn't? I ask. He inhales slowly. Then it won't be because we didn't respect it. The words settle between us. Respect. Choice. Time. I take a step closer. So this is where we decide, I say. Yes. And you're still waiting? Yes, he replies. Unless you tell me not to. The space between us feels deliberate. Earned. Close it. The kiss is unhurried. Not cautious but not reckless either. His hand comes up to my jaw, thumb warm, grounding. My fingers curl into the front of his shirt, feeling the steady rise and fall of his breath. The archive fades away. No echoes. No footsteps. Just closeness and the quiet certainty that this moment was never about urgency. It was about permission. When we part, neither of us steps back. That was overdue, I murmur. Yes, he agrees softly. But not late. We don't rush the rest. We sit together at the table afterward, shoulders touching, hands resting easily between us. No urgency to define anything. No need to fill the silence. Outside, the city hums faintly above ground, unaware of the ending taking place beneath it. Eventually, he stands and offers me his hand. Ready to lock up? He asks. Yes, I say, taking it. The doors close with a final heavy sound. Keys turn. Lights go out. We stand on the steps outside, cool night air washing over us. For a moment, neither of us speaks. Then, what happens now? I ask. He looks at me, not guarded anymore. I don't know, he says honestly. But I'd like to find out without a deadline. I smile. So would I. Weeks later, the archive is officially reopened, brighter, louder, transformed. I don't go inside. Instead, I meet him across the street at a cafe that never closes. We sit by the window, city lights reflecting in the glass. Different setting, I say. Yes, he replies. Same pace. I nod. Yes. Some things are finished properly. Others end exactly when they're supposed to, so they can begin again. And this time nothing is sealed.